Part 8. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 71. Chapter 71 Alienation. Auntie, has Yue broken up with her partner? Ying Sisi implied that she was nosy. You. Take care of your own man, Song Hanmi. I was hit at a painful point and gave up. But in order not to prove her crime of punishing Ying Sisi, she stayed in the kitchen and kept an eye on her to prevent Ying Sisi from using all the good food at home to entertain Qin Yanxi. That was also a white-eyed wolf. When Bai 11 came here for the first time, she cut too many beef slices. Throw it to a dog, and the dog will still wag its tail. Ying Sisi said calmly, I don't expect you either. Song Hanmi. I snorted coldly, I hope you can be so confident when you marry into your husband's family. You will understand later how humble and cautious a marriage without the support of your mother's family is. Ying Sisi didn't want to pay attention and focused on the work at hand. Every time the pot is served, Song Hanmi carries it into the main room. Li Junlu would always express his sincere greetings gratefully. Thank you for your hard work. He turned to Qin Yan and said, your aunt is always so diligent, and everything she says and does makes sense. Qin Yanxi narrowed his eyes slightly. What did his father-in-law mean? What he said to Song Hanmi just now was rude and arbitrary. He set his sights on the dishes. The chicken soup cooked by Sisi and the steamed winter melon roll meat are all garnished with a pinch of green chives. The scallions on the plate are about the same length as yesterday. Dishes can be learned from each other. But a person's habits are specific. The dishes must have been cooked by Sisi. This father didn't know this, which shows how careless he is towards Sisi. The corners of his mouth were raised, but his smile was cold and distant. That's what my father-in-law said. I saw that the dishes cooked by my aunt are very good, so they must taste good. My mother also likes to think about dishes in her spare time, so why don't I go and let my aunt record it? Steps, I'll take them home so my mother can learn them. It's done. Li Junlu became extremely enthusiastic whenever he heard about Qin's father and Qin's mother. He went straight into the kitchen. Pushing the door open, I found Song Hanmi sitting eating melon seeds, while Ying Sisi was lighting a fire and cooking vegetables, her feet not touching the floor. Song Hanmi's throat was almost choked by melon seeds. Why are you here? Li Junlu was shocked and stunned. Hanmi, didn't you cook the food? Qin Yanxi came in behind him and said in surprise, it turned out to be Sisi who cooked the rice. The water on the hands in the cold winter is no wonder the skin on the hands is bad. It is the fate of our maid, Sisi, the beautiful lady. Song Hanmi, what kind of lady? Are you scolding yourself? Ying Sisi smiled at him, I'm used to it. Every time there are guests at home, one of Auntie and Yue always comes in to help. As a result, they just sit there and crack melon seeds, waiting for me to put them on the plate and get up and take them out. That's it? They did it? Li Junlu, this girl. Open your mouth and spread the scandal of your family. She is not afraid that others will look down upon her. Qin Yanxi sat down in front of the stove and said, I'll light the fire. Okay. Ying Sisi was eager for someone to help. Just let your aunt come. How can I ask you, a guest, to do this? Quick, follow me into the house. Li Junlu hurriedly pulled him. Hey, this winter plum. When can I not be lazy if I want to? Not when relatives come to visit. Incompetent bungler. Qin Yanxi remained motionless. It's okay, uncle, you go into the house first, and I'll light up the fire first. Li Junlu couldn't persuade her and stayed in the kitchen with her. I'm going to buy some wine. Song Hanmi was sitting on pins and needles, making excuses to avoid it. Ying Sisi asked in confusion, buying wine? Didn't ACI give 2 bottles of Mao Tai as a gift before? Song Hanmi, you don't want to keep some good things at home, do you? Li Junlu, End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 72. Chapter 72. Listen to advice. Qin Yanxi took over. I don't really want to drink. It's a rare visit, how can we not have some drinks? Li Junlu, to show his grandeur, hinted Song Hanmei to bring some wine to set the table. Go and open a bottle first, if it's not enough, then open another. Song Hanmei was so angry that her teeth were itching, her little hooves were clumsy, and her elbows were turned outward. What if I had firmly disagreed to take her back? Li Yue had a clear look on her face when she saw this. She must have said that the bartender couldn't keep the bartender. Qin Yanxi, who has two people living in his body, is both stingy. After the two got married in their last life, he didn't spend a penny on her. At the time of divorce, there is no property in the name for distribution, and after 10 years of youth, one can change his life and leave the house. Another 2 years later, she heard that Qin Yanxi had jumped into the river, and she never heard any news about him after that. Perhaps he is really dead. It is also deserved. The food is served. Because Li Junlu was reluctant to drink mutai, he delayed raising his glass. Qin Yanxi didn't care either. He would rather eat the food cooked by Sci than the spicy and throat-piercing wine. Homemade tofu is smooth and tender, braised fish segments are fragrant and delicious, and even the stir-fried vegetables have a hint of sweetness. It is not something you have the opportunity to eat every day. After a meal, Yang Sisi sent Qin Yanyan to leave. Walking to the side of the road, he said, "Sisi, don't send me off, it's cold outside." Yang Sisi, if the weather is good tomorrow, I will bring you food. Wait for me to come to you. Okay, Yang Sisi thought to herself, am I too proactive and too clingy? Then I'll go back. She was about to turn around when her hand was held. Be careful while you are getting married, Qin Yanxi warned. Her aunt and Li Yue make people feel uncomfortable just seeing them. His sixth sense has always been accurate, and the two of them definitely didn't hold it in well. Yang Sisi listened and said, okay. Qin Yanxi said a few more words before leaving. Yang Sisi watched him get into the car until the car disappeared, then turned around and returned. Passing the entrance of the alley, I met a neighbor's lady, carrying a vegetable basket with a few cabbage leaves hanging out from the side of the basket. Yang Sisi said, hello, aunt, I'm shopping for groceries. What kind of vegetables should I buy? It snowed heavily, the roads were closed, transport trucks couldn't come in, and the supply of vegetables in the vegetable market was cut off. I had to buy this from an acquaintance through hard work. Yang Sisi's thoughts changed. The supply is cut off? Isn't the food worth dying for? No, cabbage usually costs 1 cent per caddy, but now it sells for 5 cents per caddy and people are still snatching it. Whoever says cabbage is cheap in the future will be my fault. Do you have any vegetables at home? Yes, but not much. Years ago, Yang Sisi bought 300 kilograms in one go in order to steal the money Song Hanmei gave her to buy vegetables. She managed to get the boss to give her a bargain. She saved 30 cents for that order. When I took him home, I was scolded by Song Hanmei. I didn't expect that the price would increase after the new year. It's a pity that ordinary people can't do business openly, otherwise she can make some money from the leftovers at home. She will ask around later. If the market is good, she will go to the countryside to collect some secretly and bring them to the city to sell. After separating from the neighbor's aunt, Yang Sisi returned home. As soon as he entered the door, he was scolded by Song Hanmei. Moutai costs 8 yuan a bottle. Your father planned to use it as a gift, so you made it? I made it. Didn't you open it? See, I said, if you don't drink, Dad got out of the way. You blame Dad. Yang Sisi pointed the finger at Li Junlu. This cowardly man. Every time she and Song Hanmei had a head-on conflict, he seemed invisible. If you don't mention it, how can I let your aunt open it? When you just gave Qin Yan a farewell, did you ask him why he called me uncle? Li Junlu responded by throwing the blame on Sic's head and changing the subject, trying to distract Ying Sisi and Ying Sisi. Song Hanmei's attention. I didn't ask. Ying Sisi still had doubts. He had clearly called her wife before, but now he called her Sisi. People are also a lot strange. At first he didn't like to laugh much. Especially when speaking, he is a little serious. It seems like a different person now. She even wondered whether Qin Yanxi had a twin brother. Please give me a vote. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 73. Chapter 73 Excitement. Li Junlu was unhappy. Why don't you ask? Ying Sisi, why didn't you ask me personally before I left? You girl. Ying Sisi didn't want to pay attention to her, so she went back to her house to plan the business. After a while, she took advantage of Li Junlu's lunch break to go out. From the corner of her eye, she glanced at Mao Tai in the station cabinet. She thought about it and brought it with her. She needed a gift as a bond to help others do things. Ying Sisi went to the vegetable market first to inquire about the prices of various vegetables and aquatic products today. Then he carried the gift and went straight to the back door of the hotel. After waiting for about a quarter of an hour, he saw Lao Zhao and put the wine into his hand. Master Zhao, thank you for accepting my goods last time and solving my urgent need. Small cares are not disrespectful. Lao Zhao was flattered. He received so many goods from outside because he gave gifts to win over people. This was the first time he received gifts from selling goods. What's wrong with that? You're too polite. Just don't dislike it. By the way, is there a shortage of fresh ingredients in the store? Ying Sisi smiled and brought the topic to the purpose of this visit. We're short. We've almost used up the vegetables we stocked up before. We can't get in the food from outside, and we're almost worried to death. If you can get me a 200-pound emergency supply, I'll give it to you at the market price. Old Zhao accepted the gift and his attitude became enthusiastic. Ying Sisi was very excited. Today the price of leeks at the market is 6.5 cents, the green vegetables are 8 cents, and the garlic lettuce ranges from 12 cents to 15 cents. 200 caddies, at least I can earn 10 or 20 yuan, right? She suppressed her excitement and said calmly, 20 caddies is about the same. Even if I can get 200 caddies, I can't deliver it. As long as I am in Yanjing City, I will solve the delivery problem myself. You are waiting for news from me. Ying Sisi finished her words and left. All the way to the outskirts of the city, a pheasant appearing on the ice next to the lake caught her attention. The chickens at the wet market are small, have little meat, and are expensive, costing a few yuan each. Not cost effective. She walked down to set a trap, intending to catch the stew to increase Qin Yanxi's nutrition so that he could get good grades in the future. By the time she set the condom, the pheasant was gone. She searched along the ice and across the river. Finding that there was no snow deep in the forest, she walked forward out of curiosity. The ground became more and more tidal as she walked. There was water seeping around the feet. The surrounding temperature seems to have increased a lot. At this time, a voice came from behind, the land in front is eating people, so we can't go forward. Ying Sisi turned around. He was a middle-aged uncle, wearing a fur coat and vest, holding a hare in his hand. Although he looked rough, his voice was gentle. You came in after pheasants, right? How do you know? My family lives in this area. From your accent, it doesn't sound like you're from here. Ying Sisi immediately said, I am from the local area. I have been living in the south before. I just came to Beijing for a few days and I didn't have time to correct my accent. My home is in Lijiagu. Ahead when she came, she accidentally saw the words written on the stone tablet on the roadside. Name. In order to prevent the uncle from causing mischief, I deliberately said the name of the village to make the uncle afraid. Whose girl are you? From Liajia village. I've been there often, why haven't I seen you? The daughter-in-law of a family who is a soldier. Ying Sisi made nonsense. In my hometown, there are always two families of young people joining the army in the same village. And when they come back, most of them ask for wives. She said so, and the chance of being discovered by the other party is extremely small. Come out quickly. This place is very evil. You didn't know it when you first came here. Every year, several people get stuck in the ground and die chasing pheasants, the uncle said and left. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 74. Chapter 74. Pussy. Ying Sisi was afraid and planned to leave. As soon as he opened his legs, the pheasant appeared again. Bright colors are particularly eye-catching. She gritted her teeth and decided to move forward. Because her uncle reminded her, she found a stick and tentatively moved forward. After walking for about a quarter of an hour, I found a raised walkway, and walked along the walkway for another quarter of an hour. The sound of rushing water came. Ying Sisi pricked up her ears, discerned the direction, walked along the walkway, and found a stream. A large school of fish were swimming in front of my eyes. Herring! Ying Sisi shouted excitedly. Today's wet markets are not only expensive for vegetables, but also for aquatic products. The bream and silver carp that usually sell for 56 cents per catty are sold for 1 yuan today. The number of black carp has increased from 1 piece to 2 pieces. The fish here are big and fat. Take them all away, at least 500 kilograms, right? Having made a fortune. She sharpened the pole and speared 2 herrings. He casually pulled some grass onto a string and walked out of the forest along the same path. Go straight to the family home. Qin Yanxi is not here. His luggage is also missing. Is he going to the guest house again? Or went back to the Qin family? She slaughtered the fish, cleaned it, cut it into pieces and marinated it. Then pick out the good parts. One section is braised, one section is steamed, and one section is boiled. While tasting the taste, there was a knock on the door. Who is in there? Ying Sisi's heart trembled. It was her father-in-law. Why is he here? If she comes in and finds herself eating secretly, will she have a bad impression of her? She hesitated for a moment and then said, "It's me." Ying Sisi stepped forward and opened the door. Qin's father was surprised and said, "Si, where are the banquet speeches? He's not in now." Father Qin took a sniff and said, "What makes it so delicious?" Fish. Ying Sisi had already thought of an excuse. "I'm going to make up for a CIRU off work. After get off work, come here to see what is missing and prepare to buy more. Go to the door and smell the fragrance." Qin's father entered the kitchen and looked at the fish on the stove. "You have put so much thought into it. Idle time is also idle. Do you want to eat? Have a taste." Qin's father was hungry at this time, so he picked up the chopsticks to pick up the fish. Ying Sisi served a bowl of rice for him. "There is still rice. Hey, this fish tastes really good. It doesn't have any earthy smell at all. The meat is tender and fragrant, and the aftertaste is endless," Qin's father commented. Ying Sisi silently wrote down his comments. "Dad, I'll leave this braised one for you, and I'll take the rest with me." "Hey, slow down." Ying Sisi. Ying Yi, after leaving, go directly to Qin's house. Meet Feng Shuangzi halfway. The other person ran away as soon as he saw her. Ying Sisi shouted, "Stop." She is young, and even though she speaks harshly, her voice is clear and slightly childish. "It's not scary." Feng Shuangzi broke into a cold sweat. You, what do you want to do? If you dare to come close, I'll call the police. Ying Sisi, a grown man was taken care of by a weak woman like me. If you don't feel embarrassed, go ahead. But since I dare to do it, I won't be afraid. As long as I see you in the future, he. Give it to you bone. Feng Shuangzi's hair stood on end, this crazy woman. He held it in for a long time and said, yesterday, it was your sister who shamelessly came to me, so I reconciled with her. If you don't agree, I will break up with her. Ying Sisi, I can't control her affairs, but there is one thing. Treat her well, but don't spoil her too much. When she is unreasonable, you should teach her a lesson. After all, she only listens to you. If one day she is betrayed by you, bringing into a stringent, I beat you. Feng Shuangzi. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 75. Chapter 75 Deliberately. Ying Sisi was delayed for some time and had no time to go to Qin's house. She turned around and went to the restaurant to treat Lao Zhao to steamed fish and fish soup. Old Zhao tasted them one by one and nodded frequently, it's pretty good. Where did you buy the fish? Ying Sisi, I can get several hundred caddies of fish like this. Do you want it? A few hundred kilograms. Our hotel has stock, so we don't need that much. But we can still charge it, but the price cannot be the same as that in the vegetable market. It has to be the wholesale price, which is 35 cents per kilogram. Ying Sisi felt cold, with such a low price, I might as well sell it in the vegetable market. Who dares to buy? Ying Sisi didn't want to be picked on, this fish doesn't have any earthy smell at all. The meat is tender and delicious, and the fragrance is lingering in your mouth. You will have endless aftertaste when you eat it. My cooking skills are not as good as those of the hotel chefs, and I use less seasoning. It can be so delicious, and if it goes through the hands of a chef, it will definitely bring out the better taste of the fish. If you don't want it, I'll ask other stores and there will always be someone who knows the fish and will take it, she said and left. Lao Zhao stopped her, looking at your temper, we can still discuss it. How much do you want to sell it for? 2 yuan and a pound, whether you like it or not, I will slowly find a buyer, Ying Sisi said indifferently. She would not be in a hurry if she did not want to cash in as soon as possible and buy a bicycle as a dowry for herself. 2 yuan and a half is too expensive, and the price in the vegetable market is not that much. Besides, the ingredients we purchase here are always lower than the market price. My fish is worth the price. You only buy the fish for the taste. If you are not worried, I can bring 2 over tomorrow and let you make them for customers to try. If they are good, I will buy them. Lao Zhao agreed after thinking about it. Ying Sisi felt confident, and her steps back home became easier. Enter the courtyard. Song Hanmei's question came, did you take the mutai at home? What moutai? Ying Sisi pretended to be stupid. Didn't you take the moutai I put in the station cabinet? Song Hanmei was furious. Thief. Ying Sisi said forcefully, I didn't take it. Li Yue rushed out, whoever takes it is a dog. You can scold me. I am open-minded and not afraid, Ying Sisi said. If the curse could become true, you would have been cursed to death by me long ago. Li Junlu saw this and acted as the peacemaker. Yue, Sisi is your sister. She said she is gone. Why do you still doubt her? Maybe an outsider came to our house and walked away. If you lose it, just throw it away. Next time there's something good about it, tighten it up a bit. It's several dollars. Song Hanmei's flesh ached. There were 2 bottles in total, one was opened and the other was stolen. Today is really unlucky. No, it's this period of time where everything is unlucky. She made a special trip to Qin's house this afternoon. I found out that on the first day of the new year, Yang Sisi did come to the door. On that day, Yang Sisi also received a red envelope from Father Qin. Lu Yuechun told her in private that Yang Sisi had taken at least 40 or 50 yuan from Qin's father. This girl has money and is reluctant to spend a penny on them. There is also Qin Yanci, who was very generous when he came here a year ago, but he only brought 2 cakes with him this time. She has opened her eyes to being stingy like this. No matter how much money you have, it was not stolen by me. Yang Sisi returned to the room. At night, I heated up the remaining fish soup and steamed fish and ate them myself, and then prepared fishing gear and nets. Li Junlu woke up at night and found that the light was on in her room, and knocked on her door. Sisi, you haven't gone to bed yet. Are you tired from hanging out with the Qin family boys? He was a little embarrassed to say it, but felt that he had to remind her, girls, it's better to be more reserved. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 76. Chapter 76 Departure. I didn't hang out with a CI, but even if we did, no one could say anything. After all, he and I got the certificate. You should be worried about Yue. Yang Sisi said. Li Junlu, damn girl, deliberately poking at people's hearts. It was dark the next day. Yang Sisi took the tools and set out to the place where the fish was found. Dig 2 holes randomly and pick out the earthworms in the mud to use as bait. Soon, 2 big fish were caught. It was still early, so she took off her shoes and socks and went to the shore to touch half a bucket of snails before leaving. Arrived at the hotel. The fish has been frozen. Lao Zhao took the fish from Yang Sisi's hand and shook it. It's quite heavy. The 2 of them add up to 7 or 8 kilograms. Where did you catch them? In the river. Lao Zhao smiled. Did you catch it from the reservoir? The size of this fish can only be found in the reservoir. Yes, I also jumped in and touched half a bucket of snails. Lao Zhao's eyes fell on the wooden barrel on the ground, and his eyes lit up. You are really teasing me that you can touch the snails in this season. The reservoir is covered with ice. Even if there are snails, you can't touch them. What's more, the snails are in the city in winter got stuck in the mud. Yang Sisi, nothing else, I'll leave first. Hey, okay, come over tomorrow and I'll tell you the exact news. Good. Lao Zhao said again, wait a minute, keep the snail, and I'll give it to you at the price of the fish. Out of season items are best sold. Yang Sisi's heart skipped a beat and she tried to ask, 2 and 5 yuan. If not. Yang Sisi giggled happily. The field snails were gathered together, totaling 5 kilograms, and I received 12.5 yuan. Yang Sisi got the money and counted it twice. Thank you. You're welcome. Where are the fish? If I want them, I'll count the 2 I have today for you. It's done. Yang Sisi didn't care and carried the empty bucket to the family courtyard. The house was still quiet. She boiled water and took a shower in the bathroom, then moved to the guest room to sleep. Drowsily, I felt my face itching. When I opened my eyes, the young man's stern face came into view. Yang Sisi said happily, ACI, when did you come? You just came here and you haven't seen me for a few days. Do you miss me? Yang Sisi is so weird, they have been together for the past 2 days. Also, why is he not wearing his glasses? His temperament seems to have changed. His eyes were smiling before, but now they are cold. She was about to ask when she suddenly remembered that Li Yue and his neighbors said that he had something wrong with his brain. Is it possible that his problem is temporary amnesia? If she spoke rashly, would it irritate him? Just like a sleepwalker who will go crazy if he is forcibly awakened. Let's not talk about it anymore. She smiled, Yes. The young man gradually came closer and kissed her softly. Yang Ceci's mind was empty, her hands unconsciously pressed against his chest, and the next second she was pressed to the top of his head. After a long time, he let go. He said with a somewhat unsteady breath, "Daughter-in-law, you look so good." "Yang Ceci, are you calling me daughter-in-law again? I'm taking you out to watch a movie tonight, I'll take you home after it's over, will you go?" "Go." Yang Ceci agreed. Ever since she didn't return home that night, Li Junlu and Song Hanmei decided that she and Qin Yanxi were related. Rather than strictly abiding by the rules they set, it is better to be free and unrestrained. After thinking about it for a moment, she told him about her discovery of the fish pond on the outskirts of Beijing. "If I want to catch fish and sell it to restaurants, you have to help me." Qin Yanxi became interested. "Okay, let's go take a look now." "Now, okay." Yang Ceci also responded to every request. Please vote, there are so few votes today. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 77. Chapter 77, Snake Catching. The two of them packed up tightly and set off. As he approached the edge of the forest, Yang Ceci reminded him of the danger inside. "Qin Yanxi, the earth can eat people. Could it be that there is a swamp in this forest?" "What is a swamp?" Qin Yanxi explained and added how to save yourself from falling into a swamp. Yang Ceci listened carefully and said, "You are quite experienced." "I have never seen what it looks like in the book." Qin Yan said, "The geographical environment of Yanjing should not have a man-eating swamp. Let's go in and take a look." "You should keep your eyes open and listen to your words as if you were listening to them. The deep woods are lined with green trees, the light is bright, and a faint floral fragrance seems to be lingering on the tip of the nose." Qin Yanxi was secretly frightened. His parents had lived in Kyoto for half their lives, and they had probably never seen a place like this. A paradise in the world, that's about it. Her luck is so good. Nor does it count. If she stays at home and does not move around, even if she is lucky, God will not be able to arrange her adventures. Yang Ceci was thinking about catching fish and snails. "Ci, help me catch snails quickly. Making money is important. Being poor, I am not in the mood to appreciate the beautiful paradise." "Okay." Qin Yanxi hung his cotton coat on the dry tree trunk, rolled up his trousers and sleeves, and when he waded into the stream, Sci was taking off his shoes. "Qin Yanxi, don't come down, the water is cold, and staying here for a long time is not good for your joints." Yang Ceci enjoyed his concern and smiled, "You only care about me and not yourself. It is my responsibility to support the family. Now that you have taken on part of it, I should take over the other part." Qin Yanxi said. Yang Ceci felt warm in her heart. "Okay, I'll fish for you to eat." "Okay." After dropping the rod, Yang Ceci turned her head and looked at him. With a cold face, Qing Jun's figure was reflected in the water, ripples following the ripples of the water. Qin Yanxi raised his eyes and caught her gaze, staring at him. "Daughter-in-law. Be careful." Yang Ceci's expression changed drastically. She picked up the pole at hand, ran to his side, quickly picked up a flower snake and threw it away. The snake fell to the ground, its body rolling and twisting. Qin Yanxi also went ashore. He grabbed the pole in her hand and was about to hit the snake 7 inches, but Yang Ceci stopped him. "This is a cauliflower snake. It is not poisonous. Our people there said that there are cauliflowers in 1 mile and no poisonous snakes in 10 miles. It is a good snake. Yes, let it go." She straightened the snake's body. The snake swam away quickly. Qin Yanxi's strength also relaxed. "You know quite a lot." Yang Ceci smiled brightly. "My grandpa can catch snakes, and I learned a little from him. If he knew that she had eaten snakes, he probably wouldn't kiss her. Let's continue and try to finish the work before evening." "Okay." Qin Yanxi went into the water again, paused and said, I heard from Dad that you cooked fish soup in the family courtyard yesterday to replenish my health. Why didn't you go later? Fortunately, he didn't go, otherwise he would have had to meet that person. Meeting is not allowed. He didn't want her to be taken advantage of by the other party. Yang Cixi nodded, yes, I met Li Yue halfway, but I was delayed. She talked about the happy event of Li Yue and Feng Shuangzi. These two people were originally incompatible, but they became a couple. Do you think it's strange? I even suspect that Li Yue can tell fortunes. She figured out that Feng Shuangzi has a future, so she is not afraid of worldly judgments. Qin Yanxi smiled coldly. If she could tell fortunes, why couldn't she figure out that he was not easy to mess with? The two chatted for a long time. After the bucket is filled with snails, Qin Yanxi went ashore, dressed neatly, and went out with Yang Cixi. To avoid people's eyes and ears, the two of them walked along the edge of the forest for a while, and then moved to the main road after making sure there was no one around. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 78. Chapter 78 Sky High Price. When he entered the city and approached the outside of the hotel, Yang Cixi said, ACI, don't continue to follow me. Our father is a respectable man. If you are recognized by an acquaintance who comes to the restaurant to eat, you will get into trouble. Not many of his friends know me, and I'm wearing a hat and a mask, so I don't stand out. Qin Yanxi insisted on following her. One bucket of snails weighs 30 or 40 pounds. She was holding a choker. Yang Cixi couldn't resist, okay. After waiting in the backyard for a while, the kitchen worker invited Lao Zhao. Lao Zhao greeted him warmly, girl, I was just looking for you. I'll take the fish from you. I'll give you 300 catties at the price you said. I'm also short of these snails. I'll give you as much as you can get. It's the same price as the fish. He asked the cook to give it to a picky customer. The other party's evaluation is particularly high. The taste is dense and delicious. Can be used as a signboard. Not to mention snails. The meat is plump and delicate, and paired with chili peppers, it will make a greedy person's mouth water. Because it is supplied out of season. Rare to everyone. Even if the price has doubled, there are people rushing to order it. Yang Cixi, there are only so many snails, they are gone. The fish can be provided. She did not want to touch all the snails at once and destroy the reproduction. It's done. Lao Zhao asked the workers to weigh it. 35 pounds of snails. When he was about to take the fish from Qin Yanxi's hand, he stopped him, this fish is not for sale. Yang Cixi added, we keep what we eat. The younger brother looked at Lao Zhao. Lao Zhao waved his hand and said, it's voluntary to buy and sell. We can't force them if they don't want to sell. You can go to the accountant and file an account. It's 2.5 yuan per catty and settle the money for the snails. Hey, the little brother left. Lao Zhao said, who is this? My partner, just call him Xiao Yan. Yang Cixi deliberately used the middle character to introduce Qin Yanxi. Be cautious when going out. The word Yan has many pronunciations. Lao Zhao couldn't tell the difference. Your partner? You don't think he's that big? How old is your partner? Lao Zhao looked at Qin Yanxi, only two eyes are exposed, and his appearance is hard to tell. He is quite tall. Yang Cixi, looking great, it's the time when you are young and proud. Qin Yanxi's heart moved. He was already 25. People around him knew that he had to retake the college entrance examination at his age. They questioned, looked down upon, and made sarcastic remarks. People who didn't know the reason even asked him why he didn't take the exam last year and whether he failed. The news first reached the farm. He was the first to sign up. I also reviewed it for a while. But the night before the exam, he was locked in the underground granary on the farm. That door weighs several hundred kilograms, and even if there is a key, it would take two people to work together to open it. When he was found and released, it was already 2 days later. The exam is over. Later, he asks someone to get the test papers. Those questions are not difficult. If he takes the exam, he will definitely pass it if he performs normally. It's a pity that there is no if. He was depressed for a long time. At this time, the boy came back with the money and bucket. "Girl, you count." Yang Sisi took it and said, 10, 28 7 and 5 yuan, by the way, thank you. After saying goodbye to Lao Zhao, she left with Qin Yanci. After walking for a while, she happily trotted in place. It's so nice in the city. You can even sell snails for 2 yuan and a half a caddy. In our village, no one wants a penny. It's so nice in the city, but people are stupid. Lots of money. Qin Yanci was also very enthusiastic, as a bucket of snails could be sold for a sky-high price. He mused, things are rare and valuable, and you deserve it. 300 kilograms of fish, at least 40 or 50 fish, must be transported one by one, which will definitely arouse suspicion. Let's go fishing at night. It won't be bright tomorrow. Transported to the hotel, what do you think? Okay, it's just what I want. Let's take this fish back to the family home first. Then I'll treat you to a movie. Yang Sisi had money and was willing to take the initiative to bear the joint expenses of the two of them. Qin Yanci, I've got my tickets. The show starts in half an hour, so hurry up. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 79. Chapter 79 Understanding. The two of them ran home, hung the fish out the back window to freeze, and rushed to the cinema. After sitting there for less than a minute, the movie started. As soon as the actors come out, Yang Sisi will know the plot. She is a white-haired girl, and she was originally spared by the village. People from all over the country gathered in the threshing floor to watch. There are people on the haystacks and tree branches. Very lively. The city is much deserted. There are about 40 or 50 people in a screening room, all sitting in an orderly manner. Yang Sisi glanced around, and when she turned her gaze, she met Li Yue, who was sitting in front of her. Beside Li Yue, there is Feng Shuangzi. At this moment, Li Yue was stunned and said in surprise, "Why are you here? Qin Yanci brought you here?" "Yang Sisi, you can be here, why can't I?" Feng Shuangzi had a stress reaction in response to Sisi. When he heard her voice, he felt a shiver in his back. "I don't want to say hello, but I don't dare." He turned around cautiously. "Sister, why are you here too?" he said so loudly that he almost called him a hero. "I came here with my partner. This is my partner, Qin Yanci, 188 centimeters tall, and can kill a wolf with one punch." Yang Sisi meant to tell Feng Shuangzi that she was not easy to mess with, and her partner was even more difficult to mess with. Feng Shuangzi, Qin Yanci, why didn't you notice before that she was so good at bragging? Li Yue teased, "Have you ever experienced it personally? Are you so good at describing it?" Qin Yanci turned cold for a second. How can my own daughter-in-law be willing to give up the hammer? Besides, I never take the initiative to start a dispute with others. Yang Sisi believes it. Like that night at the guest house. Although she still doesn't understand the meaning of flesh and blood business, it is definitely not a good word. So much so that her family ACI had to take action to seek justice for her. Li Yue, you are talking nonsense. Not like this when you hit me. Bang. Qin Yanci clenched his fists and didn't know what was going on. Every time he saw this woman's powerful face, he wanted to punch her to death. "ACI, let's watch a movie." The girl's soft voice came, and Qin Yanxi gradually calmed down. "Yes." The following plot made Ying Cixi cry. I feel sorry for 11ER's experience and sympathize with the miserable life of the people at the bottom. Happy that the two lovers will be together for life. The movie is over and everyone goes outside. Ying Cixi appeared in front of a handkerchief. She raised her eyes to meet Qin Yanxi's concerned gaze and smiled. "Am I funny? I can cry even after watching a movie." Li Yue cursed secretly, pretending to be pretentious, deliberately doing it to show Qin Yanxi, right? Expect him to praise you for your kindness. Qin Yanxi, I can understand she was thinking of herself. Given her appearance, if she had lived in that era, Huang Shiren would probably be the one to rob her. Li Junlu is not even as good as 11ER's father. 11ER's father would resist Huang Shiren for 11ER, but would Li Junlu do the same? Li Yue smiled and said, "Sister, this is a movie, performed by actors. What's there to cry about? If you ask me, 11ER in the story is so ignorant. Huang Shiren is rich and powerful, and he follows him to be popular and drink spicy food. How good is it? So why don't you like the rich guy?" Ying Cixi alluded to the other party's choice of Feng Shuangzi. Li Yue's smile froze. The story is different from reality. Qin Yanxi, this is what really happened. It's true that Huang Shiren is rich and powerful, but his money will not be used on 11ER. 11ER and him will have endless work to do. It's unbearable. It's a crime. Haven't you studied in high school? You are probably too full to understand the suffering of ordinary people. I suggest you go to the countryside for a few years to improve your mind. Li Yue really doesn't remember. For her, the knowledge gained in high school was a lifetime ago. I'm not going to the countryside. Feng Shuangzi also felt that Li Yue was a little too much. She was just watching a movie, so what was she talking about? She is really not afraid that her eldest sister will go crazy and tear her apart. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 80. Chapter 80 is different. Hear Li Yue say again, "Sister, let's go home together. You go back first, I'm not in a hurry." Li Yue blinked slyly and had an idea in her mind. Since Cixi didn't go home at night, she turned around and encouraged her mother to find the Qin family. Let Qin's mother know that the two have lived together. Mother of Qin would definitely be unable to sit still and go to the family home, just in time to catch the two of them. Just do it. Thinking of it, she warned, "It's getting late, you should go home early." Ying Cixi gave a salty hum. Tong Qin Yanxi took his tools and arrived at the entrance of the paradise in the dark. It was pitch dark in the forest. Qin Yanxi used a flashlight for lighting. Enter a safe place, turn off the flashlight, and fish in the bright night. One piece every 7 or 8 minutes. Ying Cixi said excitedly, "At this rate, we can have the goods ready in 2 or 3 hours." Qin Yanxi's premonition was not very good. The beginning was too smooth, indicating that there would be difficulties later. The other side. After Li Yue got home, she told Song Hanmei about her encounter with Ying Cixi and Qin Yanxi, and also told her her plan. Song Hanmei thought it was perfect. "We'll leave when your dad goes to bed." Become. About an hour later. The mother and daughter went out and walked to Qin's house at night. Father and mother of Qin had already gone to bed and were quite unhappy to be woken up. Song Hanmei went straight to the point and asked about Qin Yanxi and Ying Cixi's whereabouts. "I learned that the two of them did not come back." Li Yue talked about meeting the two of them watching a movie. Song Hanmei cooperated and said anxiously, "Cixi always comes home on time, but today she didn't see anyone until 10 o'clock. I thought they had come to the courtyard, so I looked for them quickly. Since they are not here, are they staying in the family courtyard of your unit? Can you go over and have a look? I'm so anxious that I can't sleep without seeing Sci-Fi. Father Chin had no reaction at all. His son was 25 years old, and his partner was white and beautiful. Can't help but think that she is a normal man. If you make a date late at night and then send him back intact, wouldn't you be a fool? As for making a fuss, come here in the middle of the night? Chin's mother lost her temper. Really? After the banquet speech was about reviewing, do you still have time to watch a movie? No matter how much you care about your daughter-in-law, you still have to control yourself, right? I'll go and have a look. It must have been the daughter-in-law who seduced her. She said at the beginning that she could not find a too beautiful woman to be her daughter-in-law. Yu Chunfei said that beautiful people can be liked by Yan Ci. No matter how much you have a bad opinion about yourself, your anger will be relieved when you see your beautiful daughter-in-law. This is just great. Infatuated with beauty. Chin's father pulled her and whispered, I'm tired from reviewing, why not watch a movie and relax? Our relationship with Yan Ci has just eased a bit. If you run over and see something, he won't have to make trouble again. If he alerts his neighbors and makes his personal affairs known to everyone, how will he behave in the future? What's more, we are husband and wife. We couldn't bear it when we didn't get the certificate. My mother didn't come over to see you in the middle of the night. Mother of Chin. Yesterday, when she came home from the banquet, she was willing to call her mom. If she rushes over and disturbs him, he couldn't bear to have a grudge against her again. This is not possible. She turned to Song Hanmei and said, my mother-in-law, as long as Ceci is with Yancy, there will be no danger. Don't worry, it's so late. If you can't go back, just stay in the guest room and wait till tomorrow morning. Let's go after dinner. Song Hanmei has already thought about how to prevent Ying Ceci from coming to the stage. I was dumbfounded when I heard it. Li Yue was also stunned. Why was it different from what he imagined? Please give me a vote. End of this chapter.